Everyone, welcome to my page, welcome to my platform, Step Into Your Truth. My name is Gertrude, and I just wanted us to continue on with our conversation. So, today I want to talk about taking responsibility for the pain that has happened in your life. Yes, I know it sounds a bit out there and people may not get it, but bear with me for a second. So, what I mean by taking responsibility for the pain that has happened in your life is taking responsibility for choosing the people that have caused you pain to be in your life, right? It may have seemed like the right thing to do at the time, but ultimately you chose that person or those people to be in your life. Yes, they've caused you pain, but you need to take responsibility for bringing them around you, right? Like I said, it may have seemed to be the right decision to make at the time. You didn't know that they were going to hurt you. But in order for you to heal, you need to take the responsibility for that, because that will help you get rid of that victim mentality, right? You say to yourself, okay, I brought you in my life and then you decided to hurt me. My part in that is bringing you into my life. Granted, we're all going to have people that are going to hurt us, and it's just part of life, but taking responsibility for that is just part of that, taking your power back. I myself, for example, I chose to bring this person in my life, right? I made the decision conscious. I may have been young, but that seemed to be the right thing to do at the time. And I found that when I took responsibility for bringing that person in my life, it sort of then took away some of that I'm the victim, I'm the victim, or you do this, you did this, you did this, you fix it, you fix it, right? Because we try to get people to fix us, but yet people are broken as well, so they can't fix us. And then another point is taking responsibility for how you react in a situation. Right. So, girl, I will be the first to say I acted a fool. I overreacted. I reacted emotionally, irrationally. Granted, I felt like I had the right to react that way, but it didn't help me at all, right? Because I was reacting with rage, I was reacting with anger. I just was seeing red because they were not telling me what I wanted to hear, right? They were not telling me what I wanted to hear, and I was just always like, you did this, you did this, you need to fix it. And because they can't fix me and they're not telling me what I want to hear, it actually made the situation worse, because then I would get agitated even more, like, fix it, right? Fix it. It's your doing. Fix it. And then they would then put their walls up, and then it would just be a mess. It would just be a mess. So I reacted in anger, and that didn't help. Like I said earlier, though, granted, I felt like that's what, that's the only reaction I could give at the time. But in hindsight, it didn't help me, not one bit. And then the third thing is taking responsibility for staying, taking responsibility for allowing them to continue to hurt you. Because if somebody hurts you once, fine, we forgive. But if they hurt you twice, 3 times, 4 times, now you know what they are. Now you know who they are. Now you're making an informed decision. Now the rest of those things that they're doing to you, you're making an informed decision to stay, for them to stay in your life, for you to stay in their presence. I know that's a hard one. I'm not saying, we don't forgive each other. See, as soon as somebody hurts you, you cut them off. That's not what I'm saying. But ultimately, if somebody has shown you who they are, they've consistently shown you who they are, and you don't go, like, you cannot sit there and continue to play the victim, because that's even hurting you. Now you're hurting yourself. Now you're hurting yourself. They are just being who they are, and you are hurting yourself. But just continue to allow that behavior in your life, and to allow that behavior to be perpetuated on you, because you know now. The saying is, you know better, you do better. That's not always true, I know. And I know love makes us do the craziest things, guilty as charged. But I found that the first time this person hurt me, fine, they hurt me, I forgive. But the second time, the third time, like I felt like now the decision is mine. Now you've shown me who you are. So now am I deciding to put up with this forever, or am I deciding to listen to what you're saying to me, right? It's not as easy as I'm saying. I know, like, we can talk about it now, but it's not that easy to just cut people off. But it is probably the best thing you can do for yourself. That's the best thing you can do for yourself. And in having said all that, it is also not your fault that somebody decides to hurt you. That's one thing I want to put out there. It is not your fault that somebody decides to hurt you. If anything, it is showing you who they are. If anything, it is showing you what their insecurities are. If they're just out of nowhere and they're just going to decide to hurt you or just going to decide to betray you, that's got nothing to do with you. That's got nothing to do with you. Ultimately, it's more to do with them and what their problems are and what their issues are. Unfortunately, you're at the receiving end of a lot of it, but it's got nothing to do with you, because I think as women, especially, we go around carrying all this guilt and blaming ourselves. Oh, he did this because I did this. He did this because I did this. He did this because I'm not a woman enough. He did this because I'm not doing ABC enough. No, it is who they are. And you can never change that. All you can change, or all you can take responsibility for, is for yourself. Because that's all you have power over, right? So for me, as soon as I realized that, and as soon as I took responsibility for all these things I mentioned, responsibility for allowing this person to be in my life, responsibility for the way I reacted to the situation, and responsibility for staying, to take more of the hurt than I needed to. Once I took responsibility for that and understood that at the end of the day, I can never change somebody, and it's not my fault that they decided to behave the way they behaved. I tell you, I took my power back. I took the freedom to then forgive myself, right? Because healing starts at forgiving. You forgive yourself and you forgive the people that have hurt you. Once I understood those things, I don't know, there was like a sigh, a sigh of, wow, okay, so now I can start to heal. Now I can start to forgive myself for all these things I've taken responsibility for. I can start to sit there and say, okay, I forgive myself for this. I forgive myself for this. I forgive myself for this. And then you start what? You start healing. You stop playing the victim, because the more you continue to play the victim, the more you give the other person power over your life. That you did this, because like I mentioned, when you're blaming and playing the victim, granted you are, but if you're then trying to heal, you can't continue to be in that space, because you keep giving your power away and you keep giving that person power over you, and they cannot do anything to help you. Right? You need to help yourself, right?